It's 3 days to the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections here in Ghana. Hello and welcome to the Midday News on your election headquarters.
Nobody must make himself a tool of disunity to destroy the peace lifestyle of Ghanaians because of politics, because the consequence will be too much.
This bulletin is coming to you live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. It's also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across Ghana, including Jubilee Radio in Keta, and worldwide at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, 4 children dead after fire ravaged wooden structures where they live at Kotobabi in the Tema West municipality.
Very bad. The house, there was a charcoal around, so when there's a electric pole too in the house.
We'll tell you how it took the intervention of the military and assistant fire personnel to bring the situation under control, and President Akufo-Addo and NDC's presidential candidate John Mahama commit to peaceful elections as the two sign a peace pact this afternoon.
You have cameras. Luckily, if you go there, you can...
We'll bring you details as they both bring up the issue of Ayawaso West Wugan by-election violence, and Inspector General of Police James Opong-Bueno charges security personnel to exhibit professionalism as he deployed thousands of officers to the 16 regions ahead of Monday's elections.
I urge all of you to put in your best. All of us must be professional. We must put on the prescribed uniforms only.
And the battle for Central and Greater Accra regions rages on. Who wins these two regions that has 5 million votes? A researcher thinks it tilts towards the MPP.
Based on the historical data, is really tight. We see MPP with an edge.
And in sports,
Hearts Suffolk winger Patrick Razak believes the club can turn their fortunes around despite poor start to the 2020-2021 Ghana Premier League season. Details when I join you much later with sports.
We've got details of these and more right here on the Midday News. Do stay with us.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I'm Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. The details now. The cry of a dejected father who lost 3 of his children in a fire outbreak Thursday night at Temple Gate in Kotobabi in the Tema West municipality. 4 children perished around 10 p.m. when flames engulfed the wooden structures they were sleeping in. The 4, Enoch Gavo, who is 11 years old, twins Joyce and Joycelyn Somehi, age 7, and their little sister Mary Somehi, all perished in that incident. Well, father of the 3 sisters, Seth Somehi, a steel bender, says they took the lead home because they were sleepy, and he says he noticed too late smoke emanating from the wooden structure where they were sleeping.
About 8, no, the Bobby 9:30, and my wife said, Mayfair Stormy or Kona Wakuyari Abba. The Ojari by Mimi stop. They are ball around 10, and I'm so on Pona Yankoda. To Guzu, a packet and your man, let me say, baby, I done. I said, baby, Koso, them Jimmy car. You could do on, I said, a jato, baby, me done.
You had the father who lost 3 of his children in that fire incident. Let's get onto the line and speak to correspondent Kwame Yanka. He's following this tragic story. Kwame, first off, that was father of the 3 children, 3 of the 4 who lost their lives. Tell us what he was saying.
Okay, so Bernice, essentially, he was saying that around 8 p.m. when he returned from work, the children were sleepy, as you said earlier. So they took the lead home, the wooden structure, and they decided to catch some sleep. And then the mother around 9:30 decided to wash down. But for the father, he told the wife, that Abigail, so maybe that around 10, they should close their convenience shop and then also join the kids. Unfortunately for him, he realized that smoke was emanating from the wooden structures, and he decided to get to the scene, but it was too late to save the kids.
Kwame, he was quite far off, but tell us what eyewitnesses have been saying led to the fire.
Well, Bernice, I have been speaking to some neighbors who are very close, and they said that when the fire started, looking at the conditions of the area and how difficult it was to get in, even when the fire service arrived and neighbors who wanted to help, wanted to get in, it was so difficult. I have been speaking to Rich.
I'm more than a brother because we are all living in the same. They are just next to my this is my wall, so we are just like a family. The kids come to my place to pray if they feel really at their place, and I also go to their mom to buy things, more stuff. So we are almost like a family, So there's a very bad. The house, there was a charcoal around, so far as there's a charcoal and there's a electric pole too in the house. They were all on fire, so they have to finish with those things before they can maybe bring out any dead body. So the time they finished everything, it was around 12 to 1, yeah. 12 to 1.
So that was an eyewitness, Kwame Yanka. We understand that the fire service had a bit of trouble dousing the flames. What do you know about that?
Yes, Bernice, I have been speaking to the Batuna district commander who says that, in fact, looking at how difficult it was for the fire personnel and other security personnel around to be able to make their way there, he believes that where these structures are found did not follow the usual planning when it comes to the various assemblies, when it comes to planning of their communities. But he says, well, they are doing their best. The fire from Kataprekon, and then later the military joined to assist them to put out the fire.
All right, Kwame Yanka, we'll leave it here for now. That's Tema correspondent Kwame Yanka bringing us details of that tragic incident.
Battleground is battle.
This is your election headquarters, and this is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. We are confident in you to deliver, parting words of Inspector General of Police James Abu-Baidoo as he deployed thousands of officers to 16 regions ahead of Monday's elections. The team of Election Security Task Force comprised personnel from the fire, immigration, prison and police services, and they're expected to support teams that have already been deployed to various polling stations. The IGP reaffirmed his faith in the Election Security Task Force.
Today, we are making history, and the eyes of the world and the country at large are on us. Between now, the 7th, and after the elections, we have dedicated ourselves to protect Ghanaians, residents of Ghana, and more importantly, to protect the ballot. Therefore, I urge all of you to put in your best. All of us must be professional. We must put on the prescribed uniforms only. We must wear our armbands and make sure that we report for duty at the appropriate time. For your information, our brothers and sisters in the Ghana Armed Forces and operational teams of the Ghana Police Service have already been deployed in the field. So you go and meet them. We expect an incident-free election, but when any incident arises, make sure you report it to the appropriate authority. We are confident in you that you are going to deliver. When you go, please comport yourselves. The men, please zip your trousers. And I hope to see you all of you back after the elections. I hope.
That's IGP James Abu-Baidoo charging his men and other security personnel as they were deployed this morning to the 16 regions ahead of the elections. Head of our security desk, Gifty Andapia, was at that deployment and joins me in studio. Gifty, will this be the only deployment done?
It is not. But let me also say that there are 17 regions as far as the police is concerned, because Tema is considered a region on its own. So 17 regions so far. What we know is that some deployment have already taken place. When the IGP was speaking, you heard him say that some members of the Ghana Armed Forces have already gone ahead. So they will be supporting the deployment. Another will happen on Sunday. That is supposed to be for those who are stationed in Accra. Okay. So that will be at the Independence Square as well.
Okay. And then the IGP kept hitting on professionalism. Why was that the case?
And it wasn't just the IGP. So we had the PRO, or the head of public affairs for the police, speak about it. We had Freeman Tete speak about it. We had the head of operations for police, Dr. Agariba, also speak about it. They were very particular about about professionalism. So one key thing that has come up is that sometimes police officers are seen taking food, sometimes they're seen taking gifts, etc., from people who come to the polling stations, which most likely belong to one party or the other. They're saying that do not engage yourself in anything that gives you the slightest semblance of bias. So that is a key point that they've made. And I think that over and over it's come up about zipping up, especially for the men. That has been an issue for the police as well. I get the feeling that this is a problem they've had in the past, so they've been hitting on that one as well.
Responsible for queue management, ensure some social distance and proper mask wearing in the queue. Do not take part in the actual administration of the election. Checking voter ID card is not what? It's not our job. It's a job for which people? EC officials. Be courteous, but firm, unauthorized people away from the center. People allowed access to the center are 1. EC officials in their jackets, security personnel in uniform on duty. 3rd, candidates, their photos must be on the ballot paper and their what? Spouses. Refuse gifts or favors. It could make you appear biased, if not laced with poison.
And that was Superintendent Freeman Tete. He's a member of the Election Media and Communications team with the Ghana Police Service. Gifty, quickly before you leave, there's this concern about military being used in election security.
Well, what we understand, according to the IGP who has the task force, is that the military personnel will not be a part of those ensuring elections go on at the polling stations. What they will be doing is that they are part of a rapid response team. They will be on standby. They are called in as and when necessary, but they are not going to be at the polling stations.
Gifty Ando-Apia is head of security desk here at Joy News. Election headquarters, and we bring you election-related news in association with Petrosol. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity, is always a delightful experience. Cowbell coffee, tasted, love it, and Pad Eva furniture for a modern office. And we've just got a weekend to the elections. 2 regions have been earmarked by pundits as pivotal. With a combined voter strength of over 5 million, the Greater Accra and Central regions will potentially decide the election, as they are key swing regions following the division of the Western and Bono Ahafo regions. Dr. John Osai Kwapong is a member of the IRIS Research Group, and they've done some study into the 2020 elections. According to him, whilst the Greater Accra region is evenly split between the NDC and the NPP, the Central region tilts slightly towards the NPP.
Greater Accra, based on the historical data, is really tight. I mean, it's almost split, right? That if we combine the safe, likely, and lean for each of the 2 parties, it's 12-12, with about it's almost split evenly with a number of toss-ups. If you look at Central, though, the picture looks slightly different based on the historical, in the sense that we see MPP with an edge in terms of how we did the classifications, but with a lot more constituencies that we were classifying as toss-ups. But I agree with Joseph that given the splits that occurred in the other regions that were part of the swing regions, which is Western and Bono Ahafo, now the ones that are remaining truly pure and quote-unquote unadulterated is your Greater Accra and your Central. And those are going to be extremely pivotal.
Dr. John Osai Kwapong is a member of the IRIS Research Group, while chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Greater Accra Region Chapter, Adekoka, I beg your pardon, believes the NDC can correct the wrongs of 2016 and will win the Greater Accra region.
Sure, na Sunday near you are Lenche Legacy, premix na Ahabia ne, premix I'm a party members. Ni America Fono. Ni na only 550. Caught him. Sure, now I'm only 1,200 black markets, and that's a problem. He knows the outboard motors are not coming. The fishing nets are not coming. Only this afternoon, my women organizers went to the Tema fishing area, where the fishing harbor, Tema fishing harbor, and you can see what happened there. Unfortunately, I can't give you the pictures that my brother said we have been busing people. And a party in opposition struggling to get resources. Where are we going to get our resources to bus people? Well, I think, like he said, he also can tickle himself a laugh. The important thing is that the 7th December is only 4 days away.
Adekoka is the NDC's Greater Accra Region Chairman. Divine Agohom is the chairman of the NPP in the Greater Accra Region. And he's promised that not only will his party win more seats in the region, they will win the presidency as well.
Now to my senior colleague that I'm targeting a minimum of 24. He can keep his bullets to his chest. That's what we want. Let's see. We have just 4 days to 7th December. He's quite an experienced politician. He won Greater Accra before. He's lost it. And I expect that he has experienced enough to, read between the lines to see what's likely to happen. He knows it very well. As we speak now, he's talking about the situation at the coast. And I laugh. Is he trying to tell us that the situation during that time was better than what we are seeing now? I mean, were we getting the premise fuel during that time like we are getting it now? He's saying that we give the premise to MPP people. I think that the distribution structure of the premise is not premised on party lines.
Divine Agohom is chairman of the NPP in the Greater Accra Region. Now, President Akufo-Addo and NDC leader John Mahama have committed to peaceful elections on Monday. The two leaders are at a conference called by the Peace Council, Chief Imam, and the Christian Council for a peace pact to be signed.
But ladies and gentlemen, we are optimistic. In the face of similar doubts in the past, Ghanaians have risen to the occasion and delivered a peaceful, successful election. It is my prayer that despite our deepest fears, we shall be proved wrong, and Ghana will once again be proven to be the beacon of democracy in Africa. We've done it before, and we can do it again. Let us on Monday exorcise the ghost of Ayawaso West Wagon. My name is John Dramani Mahama, and I stand for peace. Let there be peace in Ghana before, during, and after the elections.
I've said that we believe in elections, and I'm happy to give my word that we shall accept the verdict of the people of Ghana. Above all, I pledge that the peace, unity, and safety of Ghana will be our primary consideration. May God bless us all in our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
You heard President Akufo-Addo and John Dramani Mahama just before they signed that peace pact. Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, has vowed the commission will ensure a free, fair, credible and transparent election. Well, President Akufo-Addo and John Dramani Mahama are still at the Mervyn Peak Hotel where that conference is ongoing. Elton Brobe is there for us. Elton, the issue of Ayawaso West Wogan by-election violence came up during this program. Tell us about that.
So, former President John Mahama, who is contesting on the ticket of the NDC, says that he has doubt about this current administration's commitment to ensure free and transparent elections. He amplifies this point by relating to the issues that took place during the Ayawaso West Wogan parliamentary by-election. And he says that the government has been foot-dragging in the implementation of the recommendations contained by the committee that worked on the Ayawaso West Wogan parliamentary by-election violence. But nevertheless, he is committed to peace and will ensure that the NDC will play their part in the overall scheme of ensuring peaceful polls before, during, and after the general elections.
Recent events under the current administration have given many anxious moments of doubt about this administration's ability to deliver a peaceful, violence-free election. The events of Ayawaso West Wogan are fresh in our minds. This administration's refusal to sanction persons involved in assaulting an honorable member of parliament and injuring scores of people remain one of the darkest days in our democratic history. Reckless remarks by leading members of the ruling party that the unfortunate events of Ayawaso West Wuogon were just a dress rehearsal for the actual election do not inspire confidence for the delivery of a peaceful election.
I'd like to call upon the security agencies to be up and doing their work and making sure that the atmosphere in our country is one conducive to the conduct of a fair and transparent process. The strictures as to the consequences of Ayawaso West Wuogon may be an opportunity for all of us to look at issues. I myself do not want to use this platform to engage in controversy, but merely to state that whatever were acceptable recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry have been faithfully adhered to by the government.
And you heard the President Akufo-Addo earlier. You heard John Dramani Mahama, who is flag bearer of the NDC. This is your election headquarters, and you're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll bring you more shortly.
People of Ghana, let us give the NDC and NPP a proper electric shock, a shock they will never recover from. Akuko Koko, electric shock. Number 4 on the ballots. 4!
Critical election.
12 presidential candidates.
275 parliamentary seats.
Who will win the ballot to change Ghana's future?
But election is about trust.
And election coverage even more about trust.
We
are your election
headquarters.
We cover the campaigns like none other.
We analyze the manifestos better.
We strip the issues bare
and present to you the options.
And when the die is cast, we call the elections.
That's why you can trust us.
We
are your election headquarters.
Ades,
yes.
No NDC for manifesto. A mu pipa pa na wo wayano.
Ai, makai. Na de ya mi titru wo mu ni chempe no. Yera mama say oba school pon a universities polytechnic ni nursing school na fees no o chemienu na wafa maako
na de me de kra ko ne say busia ye de ma school for no Yera John Mahama say obetum na watua ne ntem so
sir na watin so say Yera John Mahama say oba eye ekitafo wo say school fo nya ansa no madi busia de atua fees no we twemu ana
we yen hihye papa na de kume kra ne student loan plus scheme no Yera John Mahama say o de be babiem san hihye be bu school fo o menya akwenya wo school mo metu o school fees in tem ansa school crash ase
Yera John Mahama when so adi hu pa on the 7th December me to ma ba ma number 2 oh ballot paper no so any challenger
no challenger ades ye to abana ko he
ye to ababa chempe
Tuma John Mahama ni NDC ama ejuma ni inkoso aba ama ye nyina.
When the stakes are high, you need names you can trust.
Here at Joy News, our election coverage is driven by a need
to be accurate, timely, and balanced. And fair. to all sides of the politics.
Joy News knows how to cover elections.
We do this better than any broadcaster in Ghana.
We bring you the politics.
We bring you the numbers.
So, throughout this political season, stay with us for fearless, independent coverage of the hotspot.
With 275 correspondents across the country,
no issue or incident will miss our radar.
And when Ghana decides, you can trust Joy News for the full story. This is your election headquarters.
This December, don't just think about the political party you belong to. Choose a leader who has what it takes and the team to manage and build a strong economy.
Think about the millions who are enjoying free SHS thanks to a strong economy.
Think about the millions of jobs being created and protected because competent hands are managing the economy for you.
Think about the roads, dams, and health centers being constructed thanks to a strong economy.
Remember those who gave you Dumso and handed the economy to the IMF.
Think about a leader who has liberated us after 5 years of Dumso.
Remember, your vote is about your future, our future. Vote for the leader who can manage the economy much better and create more jobs for you. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo, number 1, and the MPP parliamentary candidate in your area.
Thank you for staying here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. It's now time for sports with Baba Tando.
Life under returnee coach Costa Papic begins when Hearts of Oak take on Premier League leaders Karela later this evening. Hearts have endured a tough start to their season, winning none of their first 2 games and currently lie in the relegation zone of the league table. However, the return of Costa Papic, who laid the foundation of Hearts of Oak's last league triumph back in 2009, brings some hope to the club, and winger Patrick Razak believes Hearts have what it takes.
Frankly speaking, we did not start in a good note, but we know our capabilities, and this season Asafok is going to do something amazing because we have about 38 matches to go. We play only 2. Friday is going to be our 3rd match. So Asafok is coming to start in a good note.
You can check out more on myjoyonline.com/sports. You are up to date in the world of sports. I'm Baba Tanda from London.
And we head to the Central region now because the police there has picked up 2 persons at a hotel at Ejumaku Isiem. They say a search of their room revealed a checkmate pistol loaded with 7 rounds of ammunition. Correspondent Richard Kojonyaku joins us. Richard, apart from the gun, what other items did the police see upon their search?
Well, so the police found a military camouflage, a handcuff, 1 jackknife, 3 bulletproof vests, among others. And after the investigation, they realized that the pistol was registered in the name of former Finance Minister Dr. Kwabena Dufo.
And do we know the identities of the persons picked up?
Well, so the police, they are currently in the custody of the police, but I have the regional police PRO here, DSP, upon to speak with us on what exactly the police is doing about it. Tell me what you are doing about it.
Thank you very much. It was upon our intel that we went to the hotel. Yes, we have picked a pistol which is registered in Dr. Dufour's name. We are yet to identify the person, him in person, Dr. Kwabe, who is it? Yes. And again,
hi, Richard. Hello, Richard.
And not just take us by surprise as Macron. So we have intensified security.
Too bad we're having challenges with the sound there, but that was Richard Kojonyaku, and he was speaking to DSP Iron Opon, who speaks for the Central Region Police. And the news is that they've picked up some persons after searching their hotel room, and finding checkmate pistol loaded with 7 rounds of ammunition. She was basically telling us more about this issue, and the line went bad. But with just 3 more days to the December polls, citizens are urging politicians to maintain peace in the country.
What I want to tell our politicians is that democracy is about choices and it's about diverse opinions. So the fact that you are in MPP and I'm in NDC or I'm in NDC and MPP doesn't mean we are enemies. All of us cannot think along the same line. We may have different opinions and ideas. So we should all be tolerant with each other and just go there and cast our vote on December 7th and may the best candidate win.
What I'm saying is that it's like going to a football game. You either win, lose, or draw. In this case, there's no draw. So one definitely will win. And if there's a contest, we have 10 people. You all cannot be first. If there's a runoff, but definitely one person will win. So what I'm saying is that they should all let us have our peace.
And that's a message to the politicians and by extension everyone as we prepare to go to the polls on Monday. That's how we end this edition of the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Thank you so much for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Please don't go away at 1. We've got business news for you, and shortly after this, Dr. Mensa Otabil continues his series, Your Vote.